Sustainable success is probably one of the sexiest things that you can do for yourself, for your energy, for your partner. You getting success in a way that is not sustainable is not attractive. It's like when you're able to build sustainability in your life, something that is stable, something that is consistent, something that is more predictable, it feels so safe. It feels like a place that you can relax. It feels like the sexiest love language there ever was. When I was in my 20s and I was having this success that looked like I was achieving a lot in a short period of time, I was so unhappy. I was so detached from my family. I didn't do anything that mattered to me. I was so undesirable, to be honest with you. When people hung out with me, like, I'm sure I was just no fun to be around. When my husband and I got to the end of our day, I was completely burned out and tired and had no desire to be flirty or cook dinner or dance together or just have conversations, before we're going to bed, all the like good stuff. And you know what else? I didn't have energy for that because I was so burned out. And I knew, especially at the end of the day, that the next thing that was coming was me waking up and having to go do this thing that I hated all over again. It was waking up knowing I'm going to be stressed out again today. I'm going to be unhappy again today. And I would have moments where I was feeling better, more energized, and more in tune with who I was and my joy than other times. But overall, in general, I was not an attractive, sexy, happy, joyful, anything person to be around. Now that I have found a way to be successful sustainably, it has created so much more vibrance, love, happiness, and sexiness in my life. Do you think that someone is going to find you attractive if you are a people pleaser, a yes woman, a yes man? No one finds that attractive. They find that to be convenient. They find that to be something that they can use, something that they can grasp onto. They find that to be something that is helpful to them. If you are not setting boundaries, or if you don't hold up your own values and know who you are and stand for something, people will take advantage of you left and right. And that is not sexy. That is not cute. We don't stand for that. Okay? So when I talk about sustainable success, I talk about burnout, I talk about organization. This isn't just to accomplish things for the sake of accomplishing things. The reason I do what I do and I talk about what I talk about is because if you really want to live a fulfilling life, if you want to feel happy in your life and joyful and rediscover what it looks like to have fun and just be a human on the earth in this experience, loving your life, if you want to get back to that, or if you want to discover that for the first time, you have to understand that there is a process to having success in a way that is sustainable. And by sustainable, I mean it doesn't just run you into the ground. Something that is not sustainable is something that excludes you from the equation. You have to be included in the equation of your success. And that's not just being able to buy clothes, being able to have a nice car. All of that is so surface level. It doesn't get you very far. Once you get past that initial like, oh, I love your car, it's so cute, or you get past the, oh, you look so cute today, I love that outfit. Then what? What are you left with at the end of the day? When you go to bed at night and you're alone, what are you left with? When your partner or spouse is on a business trip, my husband is in the military, so he's on deployment for 7 months. What was I left with? I have to know who I am enough to not feel like me doing things for other people, or me satisfying other people, me getting reactions, attention, affirmation from other people, that is not enough. I had to find a way to feel happy and successful and fulfilled, which means I need to know myself. It means I need to know exactly what makes me happy. It means I need to know what makes me feel free. It means I need to know what brings out joy inside of me. And that takes some experimentation. It takes some going back to your childhood. What were the things that made you happy then? What were your passions? What were your hobbies? And in integrating those into your day. Sustainability is not just taking more time off work, leaving work early, setting boundaries. It's what do you do with that time? What do you do with the time that you're taking off? What do you do with the boundaries you're setting at work? That extra time that you have for yourself, what are you doing with it? Sustainability is realizing that maybe money isn't the most important thing in life. It's a necessity because our world has deemed it so, but how much of what you have is a necessity? How much of the money is really necessary? But happiness, joy, laughter, quality time, bonding with the people that you love, that to me is a necessity. I would not feel successful if I had not made time for those things and all I made time for was work. So how do we start creating this sustainable success? Number one, you have to have goals for yourself. You have to make time for what matters. And if you don't know what matters, then you're going to be aiming at an invisible target. You have to know what it is that you want out of your life. And if you don't know what that is, take the time to sit down and ask yourself what it is that you want. For 10 minutes, sit down, write the words, I want, on a piece of paper. And until something comes to your mind, just sit quietly. Allow it to come to you. Allow visuals, allow images, words, phrases to come to your mind, and then write those things down. But don't just fill it with like what you think you should have or what other people have or what social media, Pinterest, whatever tells you is like the next cool thing. Consider for yourself, what do you want? What do you want? And you may have to sit for a little while to get a real answer. But over time, you'll start to feel this coming back to the desires that you once had, the things that were so important to you when you were a child, the things that you convinced yourself weren't possible, that you couldn't have. You'll start to come back to those and realize they were always with you. You just kind of shoved them away. And that's why you feel so unfulfilled in your success. Because you were never reaching for the goals that you really wanted. You were reaching for the goals that society told you you should have. You are better when you are happy. You are better when you are fulfilled. In your relationships, in your work that you do, in the way that you feel, you are better. So don't think that it's selfish for you to have your own goals and making time for yourself. It's not selfish. It's sustainable. It's the only way to sustainability, to have a life without burnout and stress. Number 2 is after you have your goals, you need to build habits around those goals that are supportive. You need to make sure that you are working towards those goals every single day through the way that you be, through the way that you act, the way that you are. There are so many different ways that you can adjust your day, that you can show up for your goals in small ways, but ways that will ultimately get you to your goal faster than just setting the intention and thinking, oh, okay, eventually I'll get this. Eventually this is going to appear out of thin air, or, having to push yourself so hard that you end up getting stressed or not enjoying the process of attaining this thing. What is the point of having a goal? It's the process. It's the enjoyment of getting to see your progress and feeling the pride in accomplishing something. But if you're just forcing it or you're not enjoying the process, then that achievement isn't going to feel successful. It's going to feel stressful. So make sure you're just building these supportive habits. You're allowing yourself to be immersed in the process of achieving the goal every single day in a way that doesn't feel stressful, in a way that feels joyful. That's really the goal there. Know your values. Know your values, know your boundaries. And then when you know your values and you know your boundaries and you feel yourself needing to set boundaries constantly, or you feel your values being challenged constantly, remove yourself from those relationships, from that work environment, those friendships, whatever it is. You don't need to stay in a situation or a relationship that constantly is in conflict with your values and your boundaries. That is going to be so stressful. It's amazing that you're able to hold your boundaries. It's amazing that you're able to verbalize your values and stay true to them. But if you are constantly facing this conflict and needing to defend yourself or needing to put boundaries in place, you are going to burn out. Eventually, you need to just remove yourself from that situation. That is the best course of action to handle something like that. I was in a very toxic workplace for many, many years, and I tried everything I possibly could before I finally realized I have to remove myself from this situation. I tried setting the boundaries. I tried communicating. I tried, standing up for myself. I tried the breathing techniques. I tried meditating. I tried going for walks in the middle of the day. I tried making sure I take my breaks and all of these things that I think were beneficial, but ultimately didn't solve the underlying cause of my burnout, which was the toxic workplace. So make sure that you know your values and know what your boundaries are first and foremost. But if you are finding yourself constantly having to remind people of what those are, then maybe you need to change the environment that you're in. And then the last thing I'll say here for sustainable success is just let yourself rest when you need to rest. Rest is productive, it is helpful, and a lot of times we feel guilty when we rest. We feel like there's something else that needs to be done. It's not true that you need to be doing something else all the time. I have found that the best way that I can rest and allow myself to rest productively and in a way that doesn't make my mind keep going and spinning in circles and feeling like, oh, am I forgetting something? Oh, do I need to do this? When am I going to get to that? The best way that I have found to do that is by having such a good structure for my days and for my schedule that I don't feel like I'm missing anything. I have a place where I can write down everything that I need to do. I have a place where I store things that are kind of on backlog. I have a place to indicate what I am actively working on and what needs to get worked on, what needs to be scheduled. I have a way of tracking what is important and what is urgent and what is not, so that I can put those things on the back burner when I feel like I need to rest, when I feel like, okay, it's time for me to take a break, give my brain a little, moment. I have these things in place so that I know when I have capacity and when I don't, when I am able to take the break and when I have to keep going. I make my to-do lists for each day fairly small, because if you have a smaller to-do list, you have better focus, you get more accomplished, you feel more successful, and you're actually working towards things in a way that feels doable. Then the next day, you're not feeling so drained and burned out that you don't even want to get started on the next stuff that you have. You're excited, you're re-energized, you're thriving. That is the best way to be day to day. Give yourself things that are challenging, but don't overload yourself with challenges. Make it doable, make it enjoyable, make it fun, but ultimately don't pack your schedule so full back to back of things that you are a freaking vegetable by the end of the day. Okay, so that's really what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. So just remember that sustainability is sexy. Burnout is not. If you are feeling overwhelmed and a little bit burned out right now, it could be really helpful and supportive to try the Overwhelm to Action Blueprint. This is a free resource that I have for you. It's linked down below in the description. And essentially, it just helps you to brain dump everything that's on your mind, categorize it into different buckets that help you see where you can eliminate things, what you should be prioritizing most right now. And then it allows you to take small action towards that thing to get your quick wins and to feel like you can start building that momentum to move things forward. All right, you guys, I love you so much. Thank you for watching this episode, for being here today. Let me know in the comments what you took away from this episode. And I hope you have a great week. And until next time, take care.